Most people think dogs dream about chasing rabbits, maybe squirrels, maybe running through fields, maybe replaying random little moments from the day. And honestly, that's probably part of it. But it's also the simplest possible answer to a much stranger question. Because when you really think about dogs, that explanation starts to feel incomplete. These are animals that recognize your footsteps before you open the door, sense changes in your mood before anyone else notices, and sometimes stare at you with an intensity that feels almost human. So the idea that their dreams are nothing more than instinct and noise doesn't quite fit. And over the past decade, scientists at a sleep lab in Budapest began wondering the same thing. They started studying sleeping family dogs using EEG sensor. What they discovered was unexpected. Dogs don't simply sleep after emotional experiences the way we do. Their brains react differently depending on the kind of day they had, and one specific stage of sleep turned out to be deeply connected to something surprising: their relationship with humans. Their ability to understand faces, emotions, and social connection appears tied to the same dream state where their paws twitch and their eyes move behind closed lids. Which means those little movements we laugh at might not be random at all. Because the deeper scientists looked into canine dreams, the harder it became to believe dogs were only dreaming about rabbits. There may be something far more personal happening inside their sleeping minds. Something connected to you. Inside the Budapest Sleep Lab, the setup is surprisingly simple. No cages, no harsh lights, no complicated machines surrounding the dogs. Just a quiet room, a couch, and a family dog slowly falling asleep while researchers watch the activity inside its brain. Before the nap begins, scientists place small EEG sensors on the dog's head, the same kind used in human sleep studies. Then, they wait. At first, the readings remain calm and steady as the dog drifts deeper into sleep. But after a while, the pattern suddenly changes. The breathing becomes lighter. The eyes begin moving rapidly beneath closed eyelids. A paw twitches against the blanket. Sometimes a soft sound escapes the throat, almost like a tiny bark leaking out in the middle of a dream. This is REM sleep, the stage most associated with dreaming in humans. And what shocked researchers is how similar it looks in dogs. The brain waves closely resemble our own. The eye movements are nearly identical. Even the strange temporary paralysis exists in both species. During REM sleep, part of the brainstem suppresses major muscle movement, so the body does not fully act out the dream. Without that system, scientists believe sleeping animals would physically perform whatever they were experiencing internally, and every now and then, that control slips slightly. A leg paddles. The nose twitches. The body reacts to something invisible for a brief second. Researchers sometimes describe this as dream leakage, tiny fragments of an inner world escaping into reality. And the more scientists observed these moments, the more difficult it became to dismiss canine dreams as meaningless instinct. Whatever dogs experience during REM sleep appears vivid, emotional, and deeply alive, suggesting that their inner world may be far richer than we once imagined. But the most emotional part of the research began when scientists changed the kind of day the dogs experienced before going to sleep. The researchers wanted to know whether emotions could shape canine dreams, so each dog went through 2 completely different afternoons. One was positive and comforting. The owners played with their dogs, gave affection, spoke gently, and created a calm, happy environment. The other afternoon was intentionally stressful. Owners participated in something called a still face test, where they suddenly stopped responding to their dog completely. No eye contact, no touching, no speaking, even when the dog tried to reconnect. For animals that constantly read human attention and emotion, the effect was immediate. The dogs became confused, restless, and visibly uncomfortable. Afterward, a stranger approached them in a mildly threatening way, followed by a short separation from their owner, before the dogs were finally allowed to sleep. Then researchers monitored what happened next, and this is where the findings became surprising. Humans usually enter REM sleep more slowly after stressful experiences. Emotional distress tends to delay dreaming, but dogs did the opposite. After a difficult emotional experience, the dogs entered REM sleep significantly faster. Their brains seemed to rush toward the dream state almost immediately, as if something important needed to happen there. That detail changes the entire meaning of canine dreaming. because it suggests that dreams may not simply be random mental activity for dogs. They may be part of emotional recovery. Dogs cannot talk through painful experiences the way humans do. They cannot explain confusion, rejection, or emotional distance. But after stressful moments, their brains appear to move quickly toward the one place where emotions, memory, and attachment are deeply active again, almost as if dreaming itself helps them process what hurt. And suddenly those quiet moments become heavier. The twitching pause after a stressful day. The restless sleep after you came home upset. Maybe your dog's sleeping mind is not escaping reality at all. Maybe it's trying to emotionally heal from it. A few years later, researchers at the same institute asked an even deeper question. What exactly is REM sleep doing for dogs? Scientists already knew that dogs are extraordinarily good at reading humans. They notice changes in your face, your voice, even the way you walk across a room. Many owners experience this every day without realizing how advanced it really is. So the researchers designed an experiment where they selectively interrupted only REM sleep while allowing the dogs to rest normally otherwise. The dogs still slept, but every time they entered the dream stage, the researchers gently disrupted it. Later, the dogs were tested on their ability to recognize human emotions. The results were subtle but powerful. The dogs could still see normally, hear normally, and recognize familiar people. But something specific became weaker. They struggled more when matching emotional facial expressions with emotional vocal tones, especially anger. An angry face paired with an angry voice became harder for them to interpret correctly. And when researchers disrupted non-REM sleep by the same amount, the effect did not appear. Only REM sleep disruption caused this change. That discovery transformed the meaning of canine dreaming, because it suggested that REM sleep is not just brain maintenance or random activity. Part of what dogs are doing during dreams may involve maintaining their emotional understanding of humans. Their sleeping brains appear to strengthen the connection between your face, your voice, and the emotions attached to them. In other words, while your dog sleeps beside you at night, part of their mind may still be practicing how to understand you better, which means dreaming for dogs may be deeply social, not just biological. Their dreams may help preserve the emotional bond they share with the people they love most. The final part of the research focused on memory and learning. Scientists wanted to know whether sleep was helping dogs store information from the day, so they taught family dogs new verbal commands in a different language. A dog that already understood a command in Hungarian, for example, now had to learn the same command in English. After the short training session, the dogs were allowed to sleep while researchers monitored their brain activity. During non-REM sleep, scientists observed brief bursts of electrical activity called sleep spindles, patterns strongly connected to memory consolidation in humans, and the results were remarkably clear. Dogs that produced more sleep spindles remembered the new commands better when they woke up, while dogs with fewer spindles struggled more. Their sleeping brains were actively turning experience into long-term memory. But emotionally, the meaning goes beyond training. Because your dog's day is filled with much more than commands. It's filled with your voice, your routines, your reactions, and your presence. The walk you took together, the moment you laughed at something they did, the tone you used when calling their name, all of it becomes part of the experiences their brain quietly organizes during sleep. Which means while your dog rests beside you at night, part of their mind may still be holding on to the small moments you shared together that day, carefully preserving them somewhere deeper and more permanent. And maybe that is the part that changes everything. Because dogs cannot sit down and explain what mattered to them during the day. They cannot tell you that they noticed the sadness in your voice, or that the short walk disappointed them, or that the moment you scratched behind their ears before leaving the house stayed with them for hours afterward. Humans process life through language. Dogs seem to process it through sleep. While they lie beside you at night, twitching softly beneath a blanket or against the edge of the couch, their brains may still be moving through the emotional pieces of the day you shared together. Your face when you came home, your footsteps in the kitchen, the sound of your voice saying their name, the comfort of simply being near you. All of it appears to become part of the emotional material their sleeping minds continue to organize after the world goes quiet. And suddenly, the old explanation about dogs dreaming of rabbits starts to feel too small. Because maybe dogs are not simply replaying instinct or random images. Maybe they are replaying connection, preserving attachment, remembering what it feels like to belong beside you. In a way, your dog may spend part of every night processing the life they share with you. And once you understand that, those tiny movements during sleep stop feeling meaningless. The twitching paws, the moving eyes, the soft sounds in the middle of the night begin to feel personal. So the next time your dog falls asleep near you and starts dreaming, pause for a second before looking away. Because there's a chance that somewhere inside that dream, a small fragment of your life together is passing gently through their mind once again.